Breaking news today out of Las Vegas. eBay Open 2019 is underway, and eBay has already dropped some huge bombshells. They're rolling out some new features, but the question remains, do we as sellers even care about these new features? We will talk with top analysts about why eBay has become so disconnected from their sellers. All right, enough with the theatrics. Let's talk about all the updates that are happening at eBay eBay Open 2019. I unfortunately can't be there, but I am following the news, so I thought I would tell you guys what has been going on over there. So one of the first features that eBay has announced that they are rolling out is what they're calling a buy again feature. This will allow buyers who purchase an item from you to purchase the same item from you again sooner, faster, or easier, I would say. So let's say someone buys like a box of paper towels from you. That's something that people want to buy over and over and over again once they run out of it. Before, they had to come back to eBay and try to find your listing again. But now there will be a button, eBay promises, a buy it again button that will allow them to purchase it again. Now, this is great. This means more sales for us. It means faster sales for us. Amazon has been crushing it with this. They actually, I'm sure you know about their what they call dash buttons. It's literally a button you could put in your house to quickly reorder items. So they've been doing this for a while, crushing it. But really the question I have is, when someone presses that buy it again feature, the buy it again button, will they actually be reordering it from us or just any other seller who is out there who happens to also be selling the same item? It's obviously we did the upfront work. We got them to buy from us originally. We want them to continue to buy from us after they click that buy again button. So not quite sure how it's going to look right now, but that's what they promise us so far. So that feature seems pretty cool. I'm kind of happy with that, depending on how it works. The second feature I'm super excited about. In fact, I already made a whole separate video about it because I was so excited by it and wanted to show you guys how it works. And that's called multi-user accounts. Not the best name in my opinion. It should be called authorized users because that's basically what it is. You create your eBay account and you can authorize an additional user on the account. And that allows someone else to come into your eBay account and do only certain tasks. You don't have to give them full access to your eBay account. And basically the features that are available right now is that you can have someone come in and create listings for you, and they won't be able to see or access anything else on your eBay account. Don't want to get too much into it because like I said, I already made a prior video about that, which I'll link up down below after this is done live. By the way, guys, this is being recorded live. So if you're here in the live stream, ask questions today. If you're watching this on replay, ask a question in the comment section of any of my videos and I'll answer it during my next live Q&A. But this first 10 minutes, I'll cover eBay updates, and then the rest of the video will be all questions and answers. So if you're wondering why that video is so long, that's the reason why. So those two updates I told you about, pretty good updates, especially the second one. But now we're going to get more into the area where you're kind of asking, what's up with this eBay? So the first one is Terapeak integration, where eBay is working to integrate Terapeak more with the existing eBay platform. Now, Terapeak is basically a software that helps sellers find out which items are selling well and to price and what to price those items at. It never was my favorite thing. I've played around with it, and I just don't understand why eBay has been putting so much energy into it, buying it, trying to integrate it with their system. It just kind of feels like they're cluttering eBay by integrating it, and it's really not necessary. I always think of eBay like eBay built a house in the 80s, and then in the 90s, they added an addition to it. And then in the 2000s, they added another addition to it. And then in like 2005, they added a second story. And then 2010, they added like a basement. And it's like all these just like hodgepodge together, and everything's in different styles of architecture, and it doesn't really quite fit together, but it somehow kind of works, but it feels like kind of cluttered. That's what I kind of feel like eBay's like. It's not really like a smooth, easy way of navigating everything, especially when they just kind of throw something in there like this, like Terapeak. So not terribly excited about that one. The fourth update that they talked about during eBay Open is managed delivery. And if you don't know what that means, it's basically fulfilled by Amazon, but it's fulfilled by eBay. So what's going to happen is that eBay has partnered with all these different, what are they called? Like different fulfillment centers. So we'll be able to buy a bunch of items, send them to the fulfillment centers, and then the fulfillment center will take care of getting the item out to the customer, anything with returns, and even a lot of the customer service as well. I mean, that's what Amazon is. That's what Amazon FBA is. And like it's different than eBay. I've always said this, and I know a lot of sellers agree with me on this as well. Let me know in the chat how you feel about it. But I've always felt like eBay is eBay and Amazon is Amazon, and they're different. And I like eBay for eBay's reasons, and I like Amazon for Amazon's reasons. You know, eBay, it's called the flea market of the world, and eBay might not like that name that people give it, but that's what it is, and that's what it does well. And I think eBay has been fighting that and thinking that that's their problem, that they have to be more like Amazon to do well. And I think that if they become too much like Amazon, both buyers and sellers are going to say, well, if eBay is the same thing as Amazon now, why don't I just sell on Amazon? So I think eBay is making a mistake here, but hey, what do I know? They don't pay me enough to be the CEO of eBay. So no one really cares what I think about that as far as people who work there over at eBay. But that's supposed to roll out somewhere around 2020. The next thing that they talked about at eBay Open is that they're going to roll out new protections for buyers. Yay, not yay, because it's only going to apply if you have top-rated seller and you offer 30-day returns. So what are these new protections that eBay is going to roll out? Well, if a seller, if a buyer opens up a return claim and claims that the item was not as described, when it turns out the item was as described, then the seller is going to get a credit to cover the return costs. Any negative feedback associated with that will be eliminated as well. Really? Like you're limiting that just to people who have top-rated seller? That should be a given. That should be available to every seller. And look, this doesn't even really impact me as a dropshipper, but it still kind of ticks me off. I mean, every seller should have that protection from eBay. If we know that buyers abuse this, right? We hear about it all the time. Someone buys this water bottle, it's perfectly fine. It's exactly what they ordered, but they decide they just don't want it. They know that if they try to return it, it's going to cost money to return it. But if they lie and say it was broken or it wasn't the right item, then they'll get a free return, right? So buyers abuse this all the time. And I know other people, I mean, I've done it before on Amazon as well, before I realized just how bad it is for sellers. And I used to do that in college. I feel really bad about it now because as a seller myself now, I see how bad that is, how it impacts us. And I would never do that again. But buyers still do it. We should be protected from, every seller should be protected from that. But the fact that eBay is just limiting it to top-rated sellers who offer 30-day returns, really? Why should it matter what type of seller we are? I think everyone should get that protection. Okay. So what are the other updates here? So that's really it. But my question is here, are these updates even what we are looking for as sellers? Is this what we've been asking eBay for? Super happy that they have rolled out that new authorized user option. It's not very robust yet. It's just a few options, but hey, at least they're making progress there. But everything else, like what about making your website look like it belongs in 2019 instead of looking like it came from the 1990s? What about getting rid of those ads that are next to our listings that advertise other listings or even other websites like eBay. What are you thinking putting other websites ads on your website? Doesn't make any sense to me. What about protection for all sellers? What about keeping eBay and not trying to make it more like Amazon? So that's it. That's all I have to say about it. That's my rant. It's done. A little worked up about it, but that's all I got. So if you guys like that and like the information that I supplied, give the video a thumbs up. I would appreciate that. But I'm going to jump into the live chat now and see who's here. What's up, Rich? Thanks for being here. We have Flavored Research here as well. We have Terry Joel. What's up? And Bobby, thanks for being here. Let's see. Great features, says Funky Merchant. Looks like, yeah, Funky Merchant agrees. They're trying to compete with Amazon. Preach, Paul. Got a little worked up there. All right, so thanks, Dan, by the way, for being here. So let me pull in some of the questions I had saved up from the week. A little bit, I forgot to pull them up here. And while I'm doing that, guys, if you do want to learn more about eBay dropshipping, I will be hosting a free webinar soon, and I'll have the link to that underneath this video. So just go ahead and check that out. If you're interested in seeing that webinar, you'll get all the details by clicking on that link there. Okay, so the first question I had here says, hey, Paul, so I've sold this drawer set, or like I guess like a bureau of some kind that has 4 drawers on it. And the buyer left me negative feedback saying that it had 6 drawers, even though it's only supposed to have 4. And I messaged him saying, I'm sorry, if he wants to return, I'll send him the money back. Did I do the right thing? So you absolutely did the right thing. Next question, should I go to my supplier and say that was different? What should I do here? So you absolutely did the right thing. You want to reach out to the buyer in a situation like this, where they're claiming they received the wrong item or the item wasn't as described. And you can go and make sure that you ordered the right item. Sometimes you might have ordered the wrong variation. Check to make sure. Maybe you did mess up. You can check the email that you got from Walmart or whatever your supplier is, and it will tell you what you ordered. That's the first thing I would do. And then reach out to them and say, hey, I'm very happy to take a return for this, and we can ship you out the right one with a discount. But in this case, it sounds like they're not responding to you. So you can call eBay and explain that to them. Maybe you'll get lucky and they'll remove the negative feedback, but there's really no basis in that situation to remove the negative feedback unless they responded and said, oops, I made a mistake, you sent me the right item, which sometimes does happen. Or you resolve it and they're happy to revise the feedback for you, which also happens as well. But without the communication, you're kind of in a tough spot right now. Okay. What's up, Johnny? Happy Friday. Hey, what's up, Elizabeth? And Mike saying, what's up, Titans? Thanks for being here, Mike. But let me pull in another question. Here we go. So I recently did a review of the new TrackerBot. And for those of you who don't know, TrackerBot is a software. Let me close this for a second. TrackerBot is a software that helps us quickly upload all our tracking numbers to eBay in like a matter of seconds, instead of doing it one by one, which could take a while. So Michael, in response to that video, said, I've been using TrackerBot for 2 years. I've never had to do what you just showed in this video. Why are you showing something different here? So this is a new feature that TrackerBot has, where they are allowing us or showing us or providing us a way, I should say, to upload the tracking numbers to eBay without using eBay's API. So it's kind of a more manual way, but it's still very fast. It's still pretty automated. And I like this solution quite a bit, and we've been using it now. Okay. Next question. This one. Okay. I like this. Aaron says, hey, Paul, so eBay randomly deleted 2 of my negative feedbacks. I've been selling well. Is it normal for eBay to do that? So it sounds like you didn't request for this feedback to be removed and it just randomly was removed. Obviously, if you requested it, sometimes eBay will remove it. But this happened to a bunch of people recently within the past couple of days, where all of a sudden a bunch of the negative feedback we had just disappeared. And I don't know why it's happening. I've asked some other people and they saw the same thing. Not everyone saw it though. It seems pretty random, so I don't know why this is happening. It definitely sounds like a glitch, but it sounds like a good glitch to me. eBay, for the most part, the only way to get negative feedback removed is for someone to manually go in there and delete it. So how a system kind of automatically did it to a bunch of random feedback is kind of perplexing. So maybe, I don't know, maybe they're trying to treat us better as sellers because their stock hasn't been doing as well. I'm not sure, but it's a good glitch. This is a good one for once. So Elizabeth says, do eBay promoted listings really help? Yeah, they really, really do. So promoted listings are a way that you can pay a little bit of extra money every time you make a sale. And in exchange for that, eBay will put your listings higher in the search results. Basically, that's the way it works. And it works. It really, really does work. eBay will actually tell you when a buyer clicks on one of those promoted listings and then purchases the item from you. So I do recommend it. You don't have to go overboard. You don't have to enter in a high percentage that eBay will take a cut of. Just 1 or 2% can really make a difference. Okay. So Albert says, I'm afraid to call eBay to ask for a monthly limit increase. Just call them. If they ask questions about what you're doing, tell them you do retail arbitrage, that you are selling the items, and that you've had good customer service, you've been selling a bunch, and they should raise your limits. Okay. Thanks, Martin. Martin says, Paul, I like your courses. Thanks for being here, Martin. Brand Lisa says, where's a link for the upcoming webinar? It should be underneath this video, I hope. Otherwise, I'll add it there later. Witty username asks a really good question. So that question is, after you put your store on vacation mode and take it off vacation mode, how long does it take for your sales volume to get back to normal? So I ran this experiment myself recently. I went on vacation to the Galapagos, which is a set of islands off of Ecuador. And it was amazing, but I had no internet connection there, basically. So I couldn't run my eBay stores, or one of my eBay stores. And so I put it on vacation mode while I was away. And I'm making a video all about my experience coming off of vacation mode, whether that slowed down my sales or not. I want to give it some time. I want to give it at least 2 weeks to kind of see if the numbers go right back to normal, if they get higher, if they go up and then down. So about 2 weeks after I get back, after about a week from now, I'll release that video. I'll record it and release it. So if you don't want to miss that and want to know what happens after your store comes off of vacation mode, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you get that update, and hit that little bell next to the subscribe so you'll get an alert on your phone as soon as that video goes live. So Black God says, is that manual tracker bot method in the eBay course? Yes, it is. It's in there. Okay, so the OG Breadcrumb says, hey, Paul, I recently had a listing for a DeWalt product taken down due to copyrighted images. My competitors still have their listings up with the same photo. Any idea what this could be about? It's just eBay not enforcing their policies consistently. So what this relates to is eBay's Vero program, VERO. It's a Verified Rights Owner Program. So in the United States, we have something called the first sale doctrine. It means that we are allowed to buy something like this water bottle and then resell it. You're allowed to resell pretty much anything. I'm sure there's some limits on, you can't, for instance, sell beer if you don't have a liquor license. You can't sell like human organs. I don't know. That's an extreme example. You guys get the idea. Most things you can buy and resell. So you're allowed to sell these tools on eBay. The problem is that the stock images that you get from your supplier's website, and if it's a power tool, maybe you're getting it from Home Depot. So on Home Depot, they have images of the products and description of the product. Those images and that description, those were created by the brand. In this case, it's DeWalt. They own those images and that description. It is actually copyrighted by them because you can copyright photos and you can copyright copy text. So they only allow some people and not everyone to use the images and descriptions. In this case, they allowed Home Depot to use it, but they don't allow you to use it. So that's where the Vero program comes in. It will take down listings that use those images and that description. Theoretically, you could take your own photos and write your own description and use that instead of the stock ones that Home Depot supplies you. Now, why were your listings taken down and not your competitors? It's just because they haven't been caught yet, right? Theoretically, they should eventually get caught and those listings will be removed, but who knows? I don't know why sometimes it hits some people and not others, even if they have the exact same title. That's just eBay for you, right? So, okay, great question. Do I need to stay away from that brand? Yes, I would stay away from that brand. If you get hit with too many of these Vero violations, your account could get banned for that. Now, an easy way to protect yourself from that is if you're using a listing software, like the one I use, SKU Fetch, it will actually let me know when I try to list one of those items. It will say, hey, this is a Vero item. Are you sure you want to list it? You might get in trouble for listing it. And then at that point, it's really up to you whether you want to take the risk. But in my experience, DeWalt, they are pretty aggressive about trying to get those listings removed. Hey, what's up, Anita? Thanks for being here. Yeah, so Bobby saw the same thing. I had a negative feedback disappear. It was the only negative feedback my store had. Yeah, super strange. A lot of us are seeing that. Okay. Okay. So Bobby says, how do you know if you are getting a cashback discount at checkout when using a cashback website? I never know if my item qualifies for cashback. Okay, so I feel like you might be asking two different things here, Bobby. So what Bobby is talking about is using cashback websites. So like you can go to befrugal.com or givingassistant.com, sign up for an account. And if you click through that website and then go to Walmart, then by clicking through, then you'll get cash back just for shopping through that website, right? But the question is, Bobby might be asking, how do we know if we click the button correctly and if we're actually going to get the cash back? So it's kind of a tough question because when you use these websites, they're not 100% accurate. So the way they're supposed to work is I go on Giving Assistant, I click the button that brings me over to Home Depot, I shop on Home Depot, just like normal. And then because I went through that step, I should get 2% back. But it doesn't always work. It's really inconsistent. And they will tell you it's because you didn't do it right, or you have a cookie blocker up, or because your cart wasn't empty when you started. But really, I know how to do it right. I've been doing this for a while, and we do it right every time, and it's still not 100%. So there's something else going on there. But regardless, if you follow the steps you're supposed to follow, it's the best that you can do. Now, some products won't qualify for cash back, but you have to order them anyway because you need to order them to get them to your buyer. So I wouldn't even try to sort out which ones qualify and which ones don't. Just always do it, and then hopefully you get at least most of them. You get cash back for at least most of the orders. So Black God said, my listing was removed for eBay's drug policy because the item had CBD oil or CBD in it. So they removed it. Meanwhile, 100 other sellers are still up. I haven't actually looked into this at all. I know CBD is becoming really, really popular. And I don't know. I would stay away from it personally for now. Selling it online, I don't know what kind of... Again, this is one of those things I said, like some things you need licenses to sell. I don't know if CBD falls into that. I assume it does. I would just be careful with that one. For eBay dropshipping, would you say being successful is mostly lucky or being skilled? I would say there's really no luck involved. It's mostly skill and perseverance, because in the beginning it's always slow, especially when you don't know what you're doing. But if you stick it out and really commit yourself to doing something, doing one thing, whether that's dropshipping or something else, in this case, eBay dropshipping, you can be successful with it if you persevere and keep moving with it. Awesome. Terry checked out one of my videos where I recommended marking your listings with a 1% promotion, and he saw his sales go way up, or at least go up because of that. So glad to hear that. Okay. What's up, Wally? Says, I finally made it, although late. Love your eBay course, no money wasted. Thanks, Wally. Appreciate that. Dale has a question. What do you do if a customer asks why the item came in a Home Depot box? So what I say is that so normally buyers don't ask that question. And the reason for that is because they're just used to things coming in different boxes, because people need to ship things in boxes. And where do they buy their boxes from? Home Depot or Walmart. Now, if people do ask, we say that we had ran out of stock and we just didn't want to end the order or cancel it. So we just ordered it from Home Depot and had it shipped directly to them. So there would be no inconvenience for the buyer. Johnny says CBD is now legal in all 50 states, so eBay needs to catch up. Like I said, I really don't know much about it. There might be some regulations involved. That's why you got to be careful with those things. Okay, so let's see another question. So Lewis says, is there a difference between having an account for buying and having one for selling? I think you mean on eBay, and no, you can have one account that you both buy on and sell on. But the difference is that you might have an account that you only buy stuff with. You can turn that into an account that you sell with, but there are some extra steps involved to start selling on eBay, and to really take advantage of all the sort of protections that eBay has for sellers, and all the different rates, the lower rates on eBay. So like for instance, if you sign up for a store subscription, your final value fees will go down. Okay. Hey, what's up, Midland, Texas? All right, Philip says, well, what's up, Philip? One of my students says, hey, I'm a student in your course. Yeah, I know, Philip. I know you are. And appreciate your teaching styles and valuable information. Question. You recommend Card Bazaar for gift cards. Do you purchase these through cryptocurrency? So Card Bazaar is a really great solution if you want to buy your gift cards from like a legitimate website. The best thing about them is that you'll get discounted gift cards from them, meaning you might get like a Walmart gift card that's worth $100 and you only pay $90 for it. Now, one of the ways Card Bazaar keeps their costs so low is that you don't buy them with credit cards, because credit cards have a really high processing fee, usually about 3%, 2.9%, just like PayPal. And so that eats into the cost. So you can lower that by paying with cryptocurrency. And when I was using Card Bazaar, that was how I was paying with cryptocurrency. I made a video for the course. I'm pretty sure I made the video for the course. Yeah, all about how to do that, how to set that up. And you can go in and watch that video, Philip. But it basically shows you how you can set up your Coinbase account, how to use that to buy the cards from Card Bazaar. Sellers from Amazon. Okay. Yeah, so back to Bobby's question about cashback and whether you know that it's being applied, whether you press the cashback button correctly. Bobby says, so the answer is you don't know unless the cashback shows up in your account. So the first thing you can do is some of the cashback websites, I don't think all of them, maybe someone in the chat can let me know, it will tell you if you click the button that brings you to like Walmart. And that will be at least a first sign that you did something right. And then the cashback will show up or it won't show up. And you can keep track of it. You can write down all your order numbers and what the total was and how much you were supposed to receive in cash back. And then once the cashback websites tell you what you received or are going to receive, you can compare the two lists and say, hey, they missed these three, and then let them know that they missed them. Sometimes they credit you for them. A. Greg's reporter in the field, as I promised, says, I just got back from eBay Open, and he has a full review for us. A. Greg's, what is your full review of eBay Open? It was decent. That's all he has to say, or she. Okay. Further review, not sure. I'll go back next year. So I'm going to be touching base with my buddy Steve Rakin. He's there and having a lot of fun. So because I saw some of his stuff on Instagram, I'll be getting the full review from him as well. I like differing opinions. Okay. So Terry Joe says, hey, Paul, one other question. Over the last year, I had a very high return rate only because of buyers not reading the description. Will eBay kick me off? So that depends on what the reason was that the buyer selected for the return. If the buyers admitted they didn't read it and they chose the right reason for the return, then it won't impact you. But if they lied, as we know buyers do, then that could impact you. eBay probably won't kick you off for this, but it is something you want to be aware of. And by the way, guys, if you have an item that people keep buying and keep thinking it's something that it's not, you need to make that clear to the buyers what it is. So, like, let's say you sell a power tool and everyone thinks it comes with a battery, but in the description, it clearly says it does not come with a battery, but it's kind of buried in there. You want to put that right at the top of the description. Say, this does not include batteries, because people will buy it and then get mad at you that it was buried inside. Yeah, they'll have to pay for the return. As dropshippers, we don't really worry about that though. And yeah, you can get the negative feedback removed for that, but it's just a pain, right? You don't want to have to deal with that. Just put it in bold right there. Awesome. What is up, Nikki Met Finance? I just wanted to thank you for your eBay course. I've been successfully bringing in better results every month since I got started. It's really easy to follow, and the Facebook group has been very, very helpful. So thanks, Nikki, for sharing that with me. I love getting feedback from people like you. We have a Greg's reporter in the fields. Bobby, I know you're one of my students too. Got eBay bugs. Okay. Okay, so PES 2018, my eBay account is below standard. How to fix this? You got to figure out what the problem is. Go into your, what's a tab called? Where all your metrics are. Blanking on the name of it. But go in there and it will tell you what you're doing wrong. Are you shipping out your items late? Are you not uploading your tracking numbers? What is it that you're doing wrong? And they'll tell you right there, and then fix that problem. So Greg says, it was cool to hear the executives speak at eBay Open and to hear about upcoming changes, but a lot of the workshops were very basic information. I get more info from your videos. Thank you. That's kind of what I was afraid of. I think most people go to eBay Open really to network with other people, talk with them, get to know other sellers, because if you do selling full time, or even if you don't do selling full time, I think especially it's worse if you do selling as a side hustle, because you go to work every day and most of the people there don't have any idea what you're talking about. Most people there are just happy with their jobs, not trying to make a side income. And there you are doing this weird thing, e-commerce, selling online. It's still kind of weird, right? It's still kind of not ordinary. So for us to do it, especially drop shipping, like no one seems to understand what that is. So it's just weird for people. And you got to be able to connect with people. You got to build a community, build friends. Otherwise you get lonely. You go insane, right? Speaking of which, I really want to hold a meetup soon. So I will be updating you guys when that's happening. I think Johnny's going to help me out a little bit with that. He was here in the chat before. Somewhere in South Florida, probably. I know I've said it, but I really mean it. We're going to make this happen. That way we can all connect with each other. Okay. Seller's dashboard. Yeah, but after you get on the seller's dashboard, there's something else you click. I'm just blanking on the name. Yeah, Greg says, for sure is definitely a social event first and foremost. And I think most conferences are kind of like that, because if you think about it, with a conference or any sort of event, you could always watch the videos, and usually they make videos available on replay. Really the benefit is connecting with people at these events. Let me see some of these other questions I had. Okay. So this is an easy one for me to answer. Question is, hey Paul, I'm drop shipping basically from AliExpress to, I guess, eBay, maybe Amazon. Why aren't the people buying it for cheaper from AliExpress? Because AliExpress is a really, really long shipping time. And people don't know AliExpress, right? Even though it's huge. Alibaba and AliExpress is huge. Somebody's going to tell me I'm wrong, because I might be wrong on this, but I think it's bigger than Amazon, AliExpress. But most Americans haven't even heard of it, or definitely have never shopped on it. So they don't know how to go on there and see all these extremely cheap products that they could buy. So if you sell them on eBay or Amazon, then you can mark it up, and they don't know that it's much cheaper on another website. So that's kind of the reason it works there. Okay. All right. So another question from this week's. Let's see this one. OG Breadcrumb. Another question. So super informative. I currently have an open case where I sent someone the correct item. They opened an item not as described return, but in the message, they made it clear that they had simply ordered the wrong size. eBay automatically accepted the return as per their policy. What should I do in this scenario so I don't have to pay return? This is exactly what I'm talking about, guys. This buyer even admitted that they simply ordered the wrong size, yet they opened it up as an item not as described to get a free return. Such a I don't know. I don't understand why eBay. Okay, you guys heard me rant about it already. So in this case, you're drop shipping, so don't sweat about this. You're just going to get a return label from your supplier, give it to the customer, and then the customer will ship it directly back to the supplier. And then the supplier will refund you, and you can refund the customer. And let eBay know they are admitting that they ordered the wrong product. This should not count against you in any sort of way. Now, I've done that before, and I don't know if the reps are even capable of removing something like that from your account, because those item not as described, those are bad for your account. You get too many of them. So I've asked about it, and they said they would remove it, but I'm not convinced it really was. And it was hard for me to tell because it's never impacted me in a negative way. I've never had a really high item not as described returns. So I would have to talk to someone who was in that boat and who maybe tried to get some of them resolved more fairly. Let's see. Black God says, I don't know about that. I don't know about what. I sell Walmart, Home Depot, and Amazon items all the time. Sold $5,000 in the past 90 days. Oh, sorry, Dan, missed your question. Says, hey, how do you find that happy balance between competitive prices and high sales volume and adequate profit margins? My plan is to let listings go viral, so to speak, with competitive prices. So basically the question is, if I understand you, Dan, if you price your items low, you'll get more sales, but if you price them higher, you'll have higher profit margins. And this is what requires some experimenting, right? So new accounts, I always recommend pricing lower and just trying to drive sales, because the more sales you get in a new account, the more feedback you'll get, which eBay likes, which other sellers like other buyers like when you have more feedback. And it just gets the momentum going with your store. You can get your listing limits increased. And just in general, I find that the eBay algorithm prefers accounts that have momentum. Then you can always increase your prices to actually start to make some profit or more profit on there. Now, keep raising it. And if you see that your sales volume has declined to such an extent that you're not even really making a lot of sales, then lower your prices back down. There's nothing wrong with experimenting. There's no real formula right there. It's all about finding the sweet spot for you, for the products that you're selling, depending on what they are and where you're sourcing them from. So I hope that answers the question. It's really about experimenting. Keep raising the prices until you see your sales drop to a point where it doesn't make sense to keep raising them, and then lower them back down. Okay. Performance. Thank you. That's the name of the tab. Okay. I'm not sure what Bobby... I've noticed Amazon shipping times are getting shorter, in some cases 1 day. I'm uploading tracking manually, so I've hit a couple late tracking number uploads. Yeah, I mean, if you use something like TrackerBot, it will catch them immediately, and then you can upload them once a day at night, and it should get most of them. Okay, I think I answered all the questions from the week. Let me check on that. Yeah, but I'm still here. If anyone has questions in the live chat, I'm happy to answer them. I don't know. Baby's asking about eBay Germany. I'm not too familiar with any other eBay except for eBay US besides eBay UK I know a bit about, so not sure. There's a bunch of weird stuff happening with eBay recently. Like, for instance, my promoted listings started going up recently, even though I made no changes on my account. My promoted listings weren't really working for a while, and then a couple of days ago they started working again. I didn't even notice. Somebody messaged me and said, hey, is this happening to you? And I checked. I said, yeah, it's happening to me, happening to a lot of my students. I asked them as well. So just weird stuff happening at eBay. Maybe they heard from people at eBay Open, and they kind of responded to, I don't know, I'm hoping, right? It'd be nice if they respond to us and help us out. I'm really hitting hard on eBay today. I got to pull back on that a little bit because, quite honestly, look, there are things we don't like about eBay. There are clearly things I don't like about eBay. But at the end of the day, I make a lot of money from eBay. So I'm thankful for them, that they exist, that they've created this website, they allow me to sell on their website, and then I'm there making money on their website. I feel like they should be a little bit more thankful for us. Yes, it should be more of like a symbiotic relationship instead of them sucking the money out of us. But hey, you know what? You got to play in their game because they created it. And I guess they have a right to do whatever they want to do. And then at the end of the day, as long as I'm making money, I'm happy. And I am making money from it. So that's good. So sorry, eBay. I apologize for bashing on you so much this video. Okay, Dan says, meetup in South Florida. Are we talking mastermind group and high performance aspirations? Are you guys familiar with Russell Brunson's community meetups? This, like all the meetups I've had have been more like masterminds. People get together, get to meet each other, build the community up. I'm not too familiar with Russell Brunson's community meetups. I mean, I've heard of his events that he's had. Let me take a screenshot of this. But I'm assuming whatever you're talking about is something like next level, because he tends to do things pretty big. But I will definitely look into that. I like to keep things pretty casual. Matt says, at what point should you consider hiring a virtual assistant? Whenever you feel like the work's just becoming too overwhelming for you and you feel like you're doing the same repetitive tasks over and over and over again, wasting so much time doing that you're not growing your business. And like I said before, eBay has made it even easier for us to hire virtual assistants because now we can give them access to just listings on our accounts. And that's usually one of the first things that people hire a virtual assistant to do. At what age can someone start selling? You can technically start selling as a teenager, but you need your parents' you need to do it under your parents' name. So I guess technically you can't start selling until you're 18, but you could start selling as a teenager under your parents' or grandparents' name. Witty username says, when you list an item, do you usually use the exact title? No, I don't. And do I buy subtitles? No, I don't buy subtitles. I don't pay for bigger photos. I don't pay for bold listings. I just do all the free stuff that eBay gives you the option for. And then I make sure my titles are optimized. I find keywords that I think people will be searching for when they're looking for that item, and I put those keywords into the title. Wally says, I don't sell price, I sell keyword titles. Often my sale is the highest price. I love that. I don't sell price, I sell keywords. That's great. Bethany's one of my Amazon students says, if you use a FTN, does it have to be replaced with a real one? Yes, ideally. But if they don't give you one, then just leave the FTN and give the real one to the customer through a message. And Bethany will know what that means. Best way to communicate with VAs, whatever you use already. Skype, most people tend to have Skype. And Skype, it's great because it can be on your computer, on your phone. Most people have it. There's like so many messaging services out there, but that's a good one. Right on. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Dan. Appreciate it. Oh, yeah. So Carlos reminded me of something I have to add to my course. Emails from SKUGrid. Oh, shoot. So when you set up SKUGrid, you are going to start to get a bunch of emails from eBay, from the eBay file exchange. You can just delete those emails, or you can set up a filter so they automatically get deleted. I forget if there's actually a way to prevent yourself from getting them entirely. I don't think so, though. I think you have to set up a filter to get them to just go to the trash. Daniel says, I work a lot with keywords also and am not the least expensive. Yeah. Cool. All right, and Carlos, I'll that's on my list of things to add to the course, because I know a lot of people ask that question as well, and it's a little bit confusing. So I'll try to remember. I wrote it down to throw that in. It's really, really easy to do, though. If you know how to set up filters on Gmail, just set up a filter for that email so it automatically gets deleted. You don't need them. All right, guys, we are coming up on an hour. And it looks like I've answered most of the questions that you guys have. So if you got any value out of this video, out of this breaking news segment, make sure to give the video a thumbs up. Free to do it. And it really shows me, guys, that you guys are enjoying this type of content, these types of updates. And if you want more updates about eBay or anything to do with dropshipping that I cover, I have some interesting stuff coming up, some interviews with some different entrepreneurs in different niches, which I thought was interesting. You guys might like it as well. If you don't want to miss out on that, then be sure to subscribe to the channel. And like I said, I will be hosting that webinar really soon. So if you don't want to miss out on that webinar, that will be linked up down below. I have a few different times that I'm running it. And guys, thanks so much for watching. Leave a question underneath this video. I'll answer it next week. And I'll see you guys then. Bye for now.